Once upon a time, in a peaceful valley surrounded by towering mountains and glowing lakes, there lived a young princess named Alara. She was not like the other royals in nearby lands. She didn't care for fancy balls or golden thrones. Alara loved books about ancient lands. She could often be found in the garden talking to butterflies or playing the flute beneath the old wishing tree. But what set her apart most of all was her brave heart. Even the knights of the realm whispered that Princess Alara had the courage of 10 warriors. In her kingdom of Fairytale, people lived happily and smiled often. But in the far edge of the realm, past the foggy pines and beyond the moonlit hills, lay a mysterious mountain range no one dared to enter. The elders called it Dragon Reach. Stories passed down for generations told of a terrible dragon who lived within those peaks, one who breathed fire, hoarded treasures, and stole sheep from nearby villages. No one had seen the creature in years, but fear had rooted itself deep in everyone's hearts. One golden morning, Alara was in the castle garden, feeding crumbs to a bird, when a strange thing happened. A dove, not just any dove, but one with silver-tipped feathers and eyes like crystals, fluttered down to her hand. It bowed, as if understanding courtly manners, and spoke in a soft musical voice. "Princess Alara," it said, "there is a secret the mountains keep. The dragon you fear is not what he seems. He waits, not to burn, but to be understood." Alara gasped. The dove flapped its wings and dropped a tiny scroll from its beak. She picked it up and read, "The dragon guards no treasure. He holds no malice near, but hides alone in silence, bound by sorrow, bound by fear." Her heart thumped. Was it a riddle, a warning, or a plea? Alara knew one thing for sure. She had to find out the truth. She ran to the royal hall, past the polished floors and stained glass, straight into the king's chamber. "Father," she said, "I'm going to Dragon Reach." The king dropped his goblet in shock. "Absolutely not. It's too dangerous." But her mother, the queen, watched her daughter's determined eyes and simply nodded. "Take the cloak of warmth," she said, "and listen to your heart more than your fear." By dawn the next day, Alara set out. She wore a cloak woven with enchantments that kept her safe from cold and wind. In her satchel, she packed a loaf of sweet bread, her lucky compass, a sketchbook, and a bundle of her favorite muffins, blueberry cinnamon, the same kind her mother baked every winter. She rode her white horse, Lumi, through the foggy pines, where mist danced between the trees and owls watched with curious eyes. She crossed the moonlit hills, where silver flowers bloomed only at night. Along the way, she met travelers and asked about the dragon, but all had only tales of fear and fire. No one had ever dared climb the mountain. On the third evening, Alara reached the base of Dragon Reach. The air was colder, thinner, and silence blanketed the rocky land like snow. With each step up the mountain, she whispered to herself, "Not every story is true. Not every monster is cruel." At twilight, she found the mouth of a cave glowing faintly blue, as if moonlight had been captured and poured inside. She entered slowly, each footstep echoing against stone. Crystals lined the walls, shimmering like stars trapped in rock. And then she saw him. The dragon was enormous, curled in a circle like a sleeping cat. His scales shimmered in blues and silvers. His wings folded tightly against his back. He was not terrifying. He was beautiful, but he looked sad, so sad. She stepped forward gently. "Hello," she called. The dragon opened one eye, then another. He stared at her, unmoving. After a long moment, he spoke. His voice was deep, like the rolling of distant thunder. "You are not afraid?" Alara shook her head. "Not anymore. I came to understand you." He blinked, then sighed a great rumbling sigh. that shook dust from the cave ceiling. Many have come with swords. None came with kindness. She walked closer, slowly, holding out one of her muffins. The dragon sniffed it, then, with surprising gentleness, took it in his claw and tasted it. His eyes widened. "This is delightful." Alara laughed, and soon the dragon let out a sound too. It was a laugh, strange and deep, but a laugh nonetheless. "I'm Alara," she said. "I am Kael'thar," he replied. And so, they talked, for hours. Kael'thar told her that centuries ago, he flew freely across the skies, keeping balance in the realms. But one day, a greedy king tried to trap him to harness his power. Kael'thar escaped, but the fear of dragons spread like wildfire. So, he hid. He never meant to hurt anyone. He just didn't want to be hurt again. Alara listened carefully. "You've been alone for so long. I thought solitude would be safety," Kael'thar said. "But it has only been silence." Alara pulled out her sketchbook and began drawing him. "You don't have to be alone anymore." The next morning, Alara and Kael'thar emerged from the cave together. As they flew back toward the castle, yes, he let her ride on his back. The skies above Fairytale filled with gasps and awe. Villagers ran to their windows. Guards grabbed spears, and the king stood stunned on the balcony. But Alara raised her hand and waved. "This is Kael'thar. He is my friend." The dragon bowed low above the castle grounds and gently landed in the royal garden. No flames, no threats, just peace. At first, people were afraid, but slowly they came forward. Children brought him flowers. The baker brought him a giant pie. Alara told his story at festivals. Fear faded, wonder bloomed. And soon, Kael'thar became a protector of the land. Not a threat, but a guardian. Alara and Kael'thar would often fly together, across mountains and seas, spreading the message that not all who look scary are to be feared. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is listen. Years later, bards sang of the girl who met a dragon, not with a sword, but with a muffin and an open heart. They sang of the dragon who smiled again because one brave princess dared to believe in something more powerful than fear, kindness. And so, Fairytale remained a land of peace, guided by a queen whose courage changed the world, and a dragon whose secret wasn't gold, but hope.